The third discipline, he says, is at the intellectual level, free from desires. He says, all through life, humans entertain desires and try to fulfill them. None realizes that one's desires are insatiable. So again, let's look back at the extroverted mind. It sees something out in the external world. There is a strategy, a plan, a scheme that we inwardly develop to try and acquire and enjoy that thing. The problem is not with the acquisition and enjoyment of the world. Rather, the problem is that we don't realize that the desires themselves are insatiable. The opposite of being free from a desire is to be caught up in a desire, involved in it. So this word involved, or the idea of being caught up, means that we can't see anything beyond it. So what's a couple of examples? When you look at a young child, 4 or 5 years old, she's completely caught up in the child's perspective. There's nothing she can do to see the more mature perspective of her teenage sister or her parents. Or you take the example of the dreamer. When we are in a dream, we are completely involved in the dream. We don't know anything outside it. So this idea of involvement, the inability to see beyond it. So when I'm involved in a desire, I start to believe that when I get that object, I will achieve total satisfaction. I may even use those words. There is the famous line, "You complete me." Not possible. No external experience can complete me, but this is what the desire believes. So we're saying that no acquisition or enjoyment of an object of desire can complete us. Is there any evidence for this? Pause for a moment. Of course, the simplest answer to that question is to say, every time I have achieved any object, the satisfaction that I experienced gradually decays away. I am once again propelled into another activity in order to gain more satisfaction. So, while the acquisition of the objects and beings in the world can bring us a temporary satisfaction, they're never going to bring us that permanent sense of well-being that I believe it can. So to be free from desires then means that we can rise above them. There may be desires that we rise above and completely drop. There may be desires that we rise above and continue to express. The difference now is that we no longer expect that activity to bring something it cannot. So I take to the activity in the same way that a weekend tennis player takes to tennis. When I'm on the court, I do everything I can to win. I play as hard and as fast as I can. But if I win or if I lose, my sense of satisfaction and well-being is unchanged. Why? Because I have that understanding. It's just a weekend game. Whether I win the match or lose the match does not matter. I rise above it with knowledge. So too, rising above desires means that we are able to effectively engage with them rather than be dependent upon them for our sense of satisfaction. So this then becomes the discipline. What is it that I am desiring in my life? What am I pursuing? And why? What do I think it can deliver? And do I have any evidence that it can? Am I expecting too much of this particular object? So we combine this self-reflection with our study of philosophical principles, that desires are insatiable. Once we start to see the truth of this, we will naturally rise above the desires that we are entertaining.